This is GM.
The brash and young Sacramento Kings are in their first playoff series since 1996, while the aging and mature Utah Jazz have reached the NBA Finals in each of the last 2 years. The Jazz came out of the gates hitting all their notes, giving the exuberant Kings their worst playoff loss in franchise history. The Kings tied it with a rough and tough style. They rode to victory on the back of Chris Webber. Overtime was next as Vlade Divac gave his team a 2-1 lead. Can the Kings make history? Next on ESPN. The NBA came to Sacramento 15 years ago, but there's never been a game here quite like this one. Tonight it will be Game 4 in the Western Conference opening round playoff series. The Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings. The Kings leading 2-1 can put away the defending two-time conference champions. 2 nights ago here in Sacramento, first home playoff game in 3 years for the Kings. With Utah up 4, Vlade Divac down low will find Jason Williams along the baseline for the jumper, pulling Sacramento within 2. Then Karl Malone drives, rejected by Divac. 59 seconds left. Chris Webber with the miss. Rebound Divac. The reach-in foul, putting Divac on the line with 56 seconds left. He hits the free throws to tie it. And with it 77 all, Stockton to Howard Eisley for 3. No good. Long rebound directed back to Eisley, to Stockton, to Malone for the win with 3 seconds to go. No good. And we head into overtime in Game 3 at the Arco Arena. Then in OT, tied at 81. Divac over Malone. 83-81 Kings by 2. 10 seconds left. Brian Russell, the runner, no good. Comes to Todd Fuller. Divac has to foul him to prevent the easy basket. Fuller at the line. The crowd going crazy. Misses them both. Then with an 84-81 Utah, 3.3 seconds left. Stockton with a prayer, and it goes unanswered. The Sacramento Kings winning a home playoff game for the first time since moving here in 1985. They take a 2-1 game lead in this best-of-5 series, and they can wrap things up and send the Jazz packing with another victory at the Arco Arena tonight. Vlade Divac, 22 points and 14 rebounds to lead the way. It's a wild scene, a very young and excited Kings team against a veteran and on-the-ropes Utah Jazz team. It's the NBA on ESPN. Coming up next, the Arco Arena, Bob Picozzi along with Eric Clemens. It's the NBA here on ESPN. And Eric, whether this series ends tonight with Game 4 or on Sunday with Game 5, the winner will get a very rested Portland Trailblazers team.
A very tough Portland Trailblazer team because of this man, Brian Grant. He has really helped this ball club really all season long. Has taken his play to a new level this year, hitting big shots. There he is, 20 points and 10 rebounds as the Blazers complete their first round sweep of the Phoenix Suns by 10, 103-93. Taking a look at the Western Conference brackets now, and you can see the Blazers await the winner of what could be a hard-fought series here between the Kings, which the Kings have a chance, of course, to shut out or close out today before 17,317 here at Arco Arena. A big opportunity to beat the defending West Conference champions. Now the Detroit Pistons, they're singing Staying Alive tonight. They keep their first round playoff series alive with a 103-82 victory over the Hawks. They'll send that one back to Atlanta for the 5th and deciding game. This game between the Heat and Knicks, you saw earlier here on ESPN, was tied at 62 at one point, and you see what happened. Miami rolls over the Knicks to even that thing at 2 games apiece. They'll send it back to Miami to try to close it out. You can see a lot of double deuces, especially in that upper half of the Eastern Conference brackets. Miami, New York, and Atlanta, Detroit. The Pacers go ahead and sweep their series, and they await the winners.
So, Eric, 2 teams had a chance to end their series tonight and did not. Will the Sacramento Kings be the one to get the job done? Coming up next from Sacramento. Lineups, the usual suspects for the Jazz, the veteran team, Malone and Brian Russell up front. Greg Ostertag, who's been disappointing in the last 2 games in the middle. And the 2 veteran guards, Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton for Sacramento. Chris Webber and Corliss Williamson at the forwards. Vlade Divac, who's been terrific in the series at center. And in the backcourt, the young Colt Jason Williams and Tariq Abdul-Wahad. And this place is absolutely rocking, Eric.
Absolutely rocking. They have a chance to see something that hasn't happened here in Sacramento in a long time. In fact, the Kings franchise has not won a playoff series since way back in 1981. So the fans are ready to explode. But, hey, they were ready to explode in New York earlier today, too. And the Knicks could not get it done before the home crowd against the Miami Heat. Let's see if the trend continues. The Utah Jazz have been in this situation before. They're a veteran team.
And the tap controlled by Jason Williams. Glad you could join us here on ESPN. Bob Picozzi along with Eric Clemens. Game 4, best of 5, opening round in the West. Jeff Hornacek and the Jazz, of course, have been in the NBA Finals the last 2 years, and they find themselves facing elimination tonight. Jason Williams with the pull-up. Rebound pulled down by Greg Ostertag. John Stockton defended by Williams, and the pass is deflected out of bounds by Abdul-Wahad.
Well, one thing the Sacramento Kings have wanted to establish in this series was a little bit better play defensively to really establish themselves as a physical and active unit defensively. Let's see how they come out. You know they're jacked up with this crowd behind them.
Shot clock winding down. Malone wanted to go inside to Russell, and he was defended beautifully by Corliss Williamson, and it's a turnover.
Russell struggling a bit. He twisted an ankle earlier in the series and has struggled with his shot of lately. He didn't even see that one coming from Carl.
Down on the low block, it comes to Webber. Hand off to Abdul-Wahad for the jumper. Rebound, Russell. He hands to Stockton, who's coming off a 1-for-9 shooting performance in Game 3. Back to Stockton. Gets by Williams, the runner. John Stockton is 37 years old. He's playing in his 151st playoff game tonight.
And that's the John Stockton you like to see, the one who comes off the dribble, goes down the lane, and makes things happen.
And Abdul-Wahad with the beautiful crossover dribble results in a trip to the free throw line.
Abdul-Wahad doesn't play a whole lot of minutes, but he can make things happen. Has a big body at 6'6". Nice little crossover dribble. Goes up against Ostertag and Malone and hits the back of the iron. Almost got that to fall. That would have been much to the chagrin of Jerry Sloan.
In the series, Abdul-Wahad now a perfect 5 for 5 from the free throw line. And he gets his team on the board. Jerry Sloan in his 11th year at the helm of the Jazz, 14th year overall as an NBA head coach. Stockton comes around the screen, receives the pass, returns to Hornacek for the left side jumper. Rebound, Russell in traffic. Feeds Ostertag, and as he goes up, he is fouled by Corliss Williamson, his first.
And just some nice hustle that time. Utah Jazz attacking the basket, making the extra pass, getting good looks at it. Had to foul Greg Ostertag in close that time, otherwise he'd have had an easy dunk.
Look at Chris Webber, who's been playing with a painfully the entire season. Ostertag 5 of 8, make it 6 of 9 from the foul line of the series. Rick Adelman in his first year as the head coach here in Sacramento. His 9th year overall as an NBA head coach. 6 years in Portland, 2 years at Golden State. Couple of free throws by Ostertag, giving Utah the early 2-point lead. Less than 2 minutes in, Game 4 from the Arco Arena. Williams, what's he doing there? My goodness. That's the shot you take when the shot clock's running down. But it worked out, didn't it?
A long rebound from the long miss, and Chris Webber's Johnny on the spot to jam it back home.
First 2 points of the night for Webber. On the perimeter, on the left, it's Russell. Stockton gets knocked down. That's happened twice before in this series. Time running down on the shot clock, and a kick will be called on the Kings, so a new shot clock for Utah.
Weber wants to be a factor in this game. He fouled out with 10 points in Game 3, and that time, right place, right time. Vlade Divac, one of the best passing big men in all of basketball, finds him open underneath.
Stockton, top of the circle, gets the high screen from Ostertag, and now on the switch gives to Malone with the left. The mailman, averaging 25 points per game in the series. He's the third leading scorer in the playoffs entering tonight's play. The give and go, then the kick out to Williamson.
Nice play by Malone with the left-handed driving layup down the lane, and the Kings come right back with good ball movement, leaving Williamson open on the baseline for the easy 10, 11-footer.
Now on the screen, Stockton wide open, can't get it to go. Rebound on a hop to Abdul Wahad. Looks for Williams. Instead goes to Williamson on the low block, and he feeds Divac. Vlade Divac with his first two of the evening off the beautiful feed from Corliss Williamson.
Couldn't describe it any better. Old-fashioned basketball, cut to the basket. Somebody will find you if you break open. That's exactly what happened last time.
On the left, Russell. Got it. First 2 points of the evening for Russell. So we played nearly 4 minutes and we're all tied at 8. Lob pass inside, and as Weber tries to cut to the hole, Russell will be called for the foul.
Watch this again. Great ball movement. Williamson draws the double. Nice bounce pass. That's the only way he could get it in there. Corliss Williamson finding Vlade Divac, and now Rick Adelman complaining a little bit, as is this Arco Arena crowd.
Evidently, they're going to call the foul
on Chris Weber. Loose ball foul, a lob attempt. Seemed like both players going for the basketball that time.
This is Malone. Hands to Stockton. Boy, the Jazz are screening Jason Williams to death in the first 4 minutes. Here's Williams in transition when he's at his best, and he'll be called for a travel.
Well, didn't know what he wanted to do with it that time, and sometimes when you make spectacular plays like that, you go in the air not really knowing what you're going to do. That time he didn't know what he was going to do when he came down, and that's traveling.
One thing Williams did in Game 3 is he sent John Stockton flying on a 2-on-1 Utah fast break. Hornacek with the basket, and the foul away from the ball will be called on Karl Malone, his first. Count the hoop for Hornacek, his first of the night.
Well, Jazz known for throwing some elbows, these veteran players, and Karl Malone with that big left arm just sent Vlade flying, and that is a foul against the mailman.
But Eric, it's been the Kings that have been doing most of the physical work, sending people flying in this area.
They have matched them, more than matched them in this series, and it looks like early on the Jazz are ready to respond with some physical play of their own.
Weber down low, works on Malone. He's doubled, passes out of it. Good look from Williams to Williamson. Better look to Weber. Outstanding ball movement by the Kings. Weber has 4. We're tied at 10, nearly 5 minutes in. This is Malone shooting over Divac, and on the rebound, it's controlled by Sacramento. 3-on-3. Williams, the crossover dribble, and Divac is hammered.
Boy, the way they are really hitting each other. Some fists may fly in this one before too long. They are really playing hard basketball. Watch extra passes here. Weber outside. Williams inside. Williamson inside again. C-Webb, only about a 3-footer. He'll hit that one every time.
Plenty of excitement in the early going between the upstart Kings and the veteran Jazz in Sacramento. ESPN. A look at Chris Weber, who is one of only 5 players on the Kings, Eric, who had any playoff experience prior to this series.
That's right, and there's another one, Vlade. They've adopted the nickname for him, Vlade Dottie. He likes to party, and I tell you what, he hit some big shots at the end of Game 3, and of course in the overtime period over Karl Malone. Couple big hook shots in the lane. And he has just been huge the last few games of this series.
Divac now 15 of 17 from the line in the series. He's got 4 points. It's a 2-point Sacramento lead. As Stockton goes, he loses his footing. Crowd wanted to travel. Now on the switch inside. Ostertag missed the dunk. To Hornacek for 3. Got it.
Now what a way to recover. Ostertag inside. I don't know how you miss him like that, but he thanks God above for Hornacek, who fires in the 3 out top.
And Divac goes right around Ostertag, who's forced to foul him.
Stockton bumped again a little bit by Williams, and a reach in there. That's going to be a walk, but it wasn't called. Ball eventually gets inside Ostertag, who misses the dunk, but it goes out to Hornacek, who knocks down the 3.
Down low once again. Divac inside to Abdul-Wahad, who made Hornacek look silly.
They really feel confident that they can do what they want to inside against a Utah Jazz team that notably can be very physical in there.
Now Stockton is repeatedly beating Jason Williams off the dribble. He's got 4.
You're not going to keep this guy down for the whole series. Last 2 or 3 years, we've been talking about him looking older, somebody taking advantage of him for a couple of games. I guess the point there is only a couple of games. Very rarely for an entire series.
Once again, they're going to work on Ostertag. Divac's pass deflected out of bounds. Last touch by the Kings. We are at the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California. It's the NBA on ESPN. Game 4, best of 5 opening round series in the Western Conference. Sacramento leads Utah 2 games to 1. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Eric Clemens. Glad you could join us for the second half of our playoff doubleheader tonight. Russell with the miss, and on the rebound, Russell will be called for the foul.
And that's a good call. Russell had a good open look from beyond the arc out on the near side, missed it, went aggressively after the rebound, but Chris Webber was there. And here's a guy who has really come up huge, especially in the last game. Howard Isley coming off the bench for 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Even though Stockton has struggled, they've gotten great production, have the Jazz out of the point guard position this series, averaging about 25, 26 points a game, 8 or 9 rebounds, and 8 or 9 assists. And here are the success of the Kings at blue defense. Stop the pick and roll, be very physical, limit John Stockton's penetration. He's generally one of the few Jazz guys that does penetrate it, dribble.
Webber 1 of 2 from the line. It has been a nightmare series at the free throw line for Chris Webber, who is just 5 of 16 after going 1 of 2 there. Webber's got 5 points tonight. Malone shoots over Divac. Rebound, Webber in the lane. He led the league in that department. Williams will walk it up the floor. The rookie from Florida who's made such a sensational debut in this league. Webber shoots over Greg Foster, who's made an early entrance in the game for the Jazz. Around the screen comes Hornacek. Down low Malone. The return pass knocked away and stolen by Abdul-Wahad. Perfect defense that time. Williams to Williamson. Blocked from behind by Malone. Carl touched it last. It will be Sacramento ball.
Well, have you ever heard and seen so many bodies being thumped and then crashing to the floor? We're just basically around the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, and they are killing one another out there.
Down low, Williamson over Russell. 3rd and 4th points of the night for Corliss Williamson off the feed from Webber, who is 3rd on the team in assists during the regular season.
And many of the Sacramento baskets coming from inside. Good news for them.
Malone right down the lane. 4 points for Malone, who is playing in his 141st career playoff game. On the wing, Abdul-Wahad, and as he goes, he was fouled. Isley wanted a travel call. He won't get it. Instead, I believe Hornacek will pick up the foul.
And he will again, inside-out kind of ball movement. The Sacramento Kings will break down the defense a little bit by driving the lane and kick the ball either for a better open shot opportunity or kick it back outside for an opportunity. But they haven't taken much so far in this game from the perimeter. They see something inside. They think they can attack the basket and do some damage against the Utah Jazz in the paint.
Shandon Anderson makes his first appearance of the night for the Jazz. Third-year man out of Georgia, as Abdul Wahad goes to the free throw line following the second personal foul on Jeff Hornacek. Far side, it's Malone. Foster with the miss. Rebound, Divac. This is Jason Williams. Weber with the jumper. Long rebound. 4 Jazz were there, and eventually winds up in the hands of Isley. There you see the shooting story. The early going, both teams shooting very well. Off the Malone miss, Abdul Wahad lost it off his foot and out of bounds. He's been everywhere, though.
Yeah, no lack of hustle on either end of the floor in this game. And again, 6 of the last 9 years, Jerry Sloan's Utah club has come down to the deciding game in its first-round playoff series. So they've been in this position before. They know they have to keep it close, take an early lead, take the big crowd out of it. But I don't know, Bob. I don't know if this crowd here at Arco tonight will ever be taken out of this game.
Weber steps in the passing lane to pick off the pass. 2-on-2, Williamson. On the right, Abdul Wahad. And the rebound taken down by Malone. The pace has been frantic. And the crowd has been in it right from, I was going to say right from the opening tip, but long before that.
Well before that.
Malone to Foster. Left side jumper. Rebound, Abdul Wahad. I've called his name a few times.
That's right. Karl Malone has had the ball a few times. He's moved into that kind of point forward position, but hasn't been able to pick up the assist lately.
Williamson over Russell. He's got 6 off the pretty feed from Jason Williams.
And again, another basket by Sacramento coming from inside the paint area. They really see a weakness there, and they are attacking.
They led the league in that department during the regular season, points in the paint. They also led the league in scoring, and were dead last in scoring defense. So Isley hits the runner for his first 2. And when play resumes, it will be Sacramento ball. Jason Williams and the Kings looking to finish off the Jazz in Game 4. Sacramento by 2, 1:52 remaining. And Eric, what a contrast between these two teams when it comes to experience. Consider this. There are 3 players on the Jazz, Stockton, Malone, and Hornacek. And entering this series, each one of those 3 had more individual playoff experience than the entire Sacramento team.
I tell you what, they've been here before. They know what it takes. For the Sacramento Kings, sometimes you can ride through a series or through a moment on pure emotion. And that's what they're doing right now with this big Arco Arena crowd behind them every step of the way. They have matched Utah physically. They are getting the ball, as we talked about earlier, into the paint, which is what they like to do. And everybody right now playing pretty much within themselves, except in situations like that where you try to force passes in and so forth.
The Weber entry pass was deflected and stolen by the Jazz. This is Isley. 2 veteran guards, Stockton and Hornacek, on the bench. Hornacek with 2 fouls. And the pull-up jumper is good.
Isley 2 shots in a row now, and again, he has been huge all series long, coming off the bench, averaging 14 points a game off the bench in this series.
Second most on the team, a distant second, albeit, to Malone. Jason Williams, long 3. Got it! First points of the evening for the rookie from Florida.
And he's the one who will look for a little flash, look for something to bring the crowd up to its feet. But playing against a veteran Utah Jazz team like this, it might not be the best for him to do all the time. But that was a good situation there.
Right side jumper, Shandon Anderson, his first shot. First points of the evening.
Like the early rounds of a heavyweight fight, both teams keep giving each other a jab here and there, a jab here and there.
Well, in the last 2 games, that was literally true for the Kings. Weber drives. How did he get that to go? 7 points for the former member of the Fab Five at the University of Michigan. On the left, he stepped on the sideline.
Tell you what, as we take a look at Chris Webber somehow get inside against first team all-defensive team member Karl Malone, gets it knocked away from him there. You can't hold it and take your eye off it there, and that's Williams just coming up shooting for 3. But Webber somehow slashed his way to the basket last time for a hoop. I tell you what, early, Bob, the officials are letting him play a little bit, letting some contact go. They have to be consistent and let it go for the entire game if this is the way it's going to be called.
Rick Adelman is yet to go to his bench. Another 3 for Williams. And good rebound position by Foster. Utah will play for 1. Russell, nice feed, baseline Anderson. Rebound Divac, and that'll do it. So a very entertaining and high energy first quarter here at the Arco Arena. Chris Webber, 7 points, couple of rebounds. Vlade Divac, 4 points. And Sacramento leading 2 games to 1 and hoping for a date in the Western semifinals with the Portland Trailblazers. They lead Utah by 3 at the end of 1 at the Arco Arena. Welcome back to Sacramento in the second quarter. Game 4, opening round, best of 5 in the Western Conference. It's the NBA playoffs here on ESPN. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Eric Clemens. As we get a look at Vernon Maxwell. He's one of those 5 Sacramento players with previous playoff experience. This is the 44th playoff game of his career. On the Houston Rockets World Championship teams in '94 and in '95.
Mad Max.
Utah with the ball to begin the quarter. It's Isley as Stockton continues to get a long rest. Isley with the runner. He's got 6.
Well, he is ever confident and ready to take over that point guard position when John Stockton's ready to relinquish it.
Webber puts it on the floor and is stripped by Isley. Here come the Jazz. Foster, wide open look. First 2 points of the ball game for Foster, and just like that, the lead changes hands. Wholesale substitutions for Sacramento. Webber's still in there. He'll take the left side jumper and kiss it off the window.
A la Elvin Hayes. You might as well use that glass when you're at an angle like that. And he's developing into a pretty good shooter from the wing about 14, 15 feet away by using that glass.
Lawrence Funderburk is in the game. So is John Barry. We mentioned Maxwell, who sticks his hand in for the steal. Here's Barry. Bad pass as he wanted Maxwell on the wing.
Well, he thought Maxwell was going to flash into his usual corner to go up for the 3. And he just threw it a little bit too far ahead of him.
Barry's had a terrific series off the bench, particularly from the free throw line, where he's been 11 of 12. Left side jumper. And Utah with 3 quick baskets to begin the quarter. This is Corliss Williamson. He'll take the shot. And the ball will go back to the Jazz.
Jerry Sloan during the last time out told him, hey, one of the smart things you do in basketball is you get the ball to the guy with the hot hand. So he told his team, run high pick and roll for Isley. He's the guy with the hot hand. Get the ball in his hands, let him shoot it, because he has been on a tear.
Isley with a good look inside. Foster is stripped by Funderburk. Last touch by the Kings. Some very creative signs. They've had years to work on them. It's been a long time since they've been here. Jazz lead the Kings by 1. Just over 2 minutes into the second quarter. Game 4. NBA Western Conference opening round. Now there's a familiar face. Rick Majerus leaving his hotel room, which he calls his home in Salt Lake City, to do a little TV work for the domestic coverage in the United States. Majerus is an absolute hero to the folks in Salt Lake City, which is where the University of Utah is located. A year ago, he took his Utah team to the NCAA championship game before they fell to Kentucky. Adam Keefe will inbound for the Utah Jazz. In the lane, the turnaround by the veteran Thurl Bailey, and Funderburg stepped on the end line on the rebound.
Funderburg claims he was pushed when he got the rebound. That's why he went flying out of bounds, but no harm, no foul, according to the officials. And Jerry Sloan says, I'll take that call.
And off the inbound, the Kings really fell asleep as Keefe gets his first basket of the night. So it's an 8-2 run to begin the quarter by the Jazz. Long jump Maxwell. No good. Rebound Funderburg and a new clock. Peja Stojakovic is checked into the lineup for the Kings as John Barry hits his first shot of the night.
Barry worked himself open. Nice ball fake to get open on the wing. Knocked it down.
He, of course, is the son of Hall of Famer Rick Barry. One of several of Rick's sons who's gone on to play basketball. And Bailey with the jam inside.
I tell you what, Howard Isley is not much difference in him in terms of his productivity in this series, and John Stockton at his best, making excellent decisions with the basketball and can burn you offensively.
Maxwell, another three, and on the rebound, Funderburg draws the foul. Funderburg's been very active as we look at the NBA career leader in assists and steals, 37-year-old John Stockton.
Long rest on the bench for him, and this guy never gets long rests. Karl Malone, he'll be back in there. Thurl Bailey, a couple of big baskets for Utah, and now last 3 or 4 possessions down, Chris Webber's gotten that ball in the near wing.
So Maxwell finally hits one. He missed his first 2, and he buries the 3. Maxwell now just 6 of 18 from three-point range in the series.
Big shot, though. Big shot. Keeps the crowd right on top of it, right in it. Gives his team some new life. Now, most of the starters played the entire first quarter. We'll see how that might affect them down the stretch.
And as Keefe drives toward the hole, he'll be called for the charge.
Keep pointing down to that charging area. It says, hey, Chris Webber was inside of that dotted line there. Here's a good ball movement. Mad Max, give him a chance to tee it up like that, and if he gets on a roll, he can bring the house down.
Webber will get a rest, his first of the night. He leaves with 9, replaced by Divac. And Scott Pollard has made his first appearance of the night in the Sacramento lineup. This is Barry. Rebound Keefe.
Barry wanted a foul that time, didn't get it, and then the officials allowing contact. Nice steal.
Maxwell got his hand on it. 3-on-2. Stojakovic. His first 2 points of the evening.
Transition basketball. I haven't seen much of that so far in this game. Both teams slugging it out a bit in the half court. But a good transition opportunity by the Kings that time, and Stojakovic takes advantage with the nice soft lay-in.
Rick Alabin's club was 3rd in the league this year in fast break points. That's the way they want to play. As we mentioned, they led the league in scoring. They don't score if you score 100. They just want to get 102. And in that respect, they're unlike every other team in the league. Long shot, Isley, no good. Divac's rebound. Long outlet, Barry. Finds Maxwell. Spot up 3. Got it!
Like we said, this guy can bring the house down if he gets hot from beyond the arc, and he is.
John Barry and Maxwell have really made things happen.
Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
This is the way things look in the West. San Antonio up 2-1 on Minnesota. We'll look for the kill tomorrow. Same thing for the Lakers, who will play Game 4 in Houston tomorrow. Portland has already swept Phoenix, and Sacramento with the 2-1 lead here on Utah. Vernon Maxwell has been terrific since checking into the lineup with a couple of threes, sparking that 8-0 Sacramento run. Stockton has returned. Rebound to Barry. Boy, can he get up in the air.
He certainly can. Not a real good shot that time by Russell. Really wasn't set very well. You knew from the time he let that one go, it wasn't going in.
Divac down low on Malone and Carl fouled him. Number 2 on the mailman.
Divac's tough for most people to handle down low. He's got a nice soft touch around the basket and in the paint. And now he'll shoot 2 and picks up foul number 2.
Divac, of course, one of those Sacramento players with previous playoff experience. In fact, the most experience. This is his 67th career playoff game. It's his 10th year in the league. Started with the Lakers, then on to Charlotte. It's his first year here in Sacramento, and it's his 9th playoff appearance.
Now that run is 10-0. And Sacramento has stretched that lead up to 7, and now they'll get really active on defense to try to keep the momentum.
Stockton along the baseline. Malone gets it back, and Russell with the spectacular left-handed follow. Barry puts on the brakes. Divac, as they isolate this side of the lane on Malone. Remember, he's got 2 fouls. Maxwell, another 3. And Russell directed the rebound to his teammate. Stockton, defended by Barry. As we reach the midway point of the quarter. Nice lob pass down low to Malone, and he'll get to the line.
Malone had great position on Stojakovic down low. And all they needed to do was lob it into the big mailman, and he was going to put that big bottom on Stojakovic and create an easy opportunity to draw a foul and get an easy basket.
I think the foul might have been on Scott Pollard as the mailman goes to the free throw line. Malone, certainly one of the leading candidates for the MVP award this year. If he gets it, it will be his 2nd. Bringing it up the floor is Vernon Maxwell. Wants Divac down low. This is Barry. Back rims it. Divac can't control the rebound along the baseline.
Vlade Divac hustling away. But as soon as he gets the double team, he wants to pass right back out of it, and now hustling on the rebound. Vlade just takes a little run right into the stands and gets a couple of well-deserved pats on the back.
Coming up at halftime, we'll take a close-up look at Vlade Divac and what he's been going through with all the turmoil back in his native land of Yugoslavia. Anderson for 3. And on the rebound, Weber goes down hard. He and Malone lock arms. Now, the good news for the Kings is Malone just picked up his 3rd foul, but the bad news is Weber could be hurt.
And Weber has been bothered by back problems, as you alluded to earlier, Bob, all year long. Karl Malone, some of the biggest, strongest arms in all of basketball. And I tell you what, those big guns just shed. Chris Webber is not a small man himself. You saw that right arm go down. Webber hits hard.
It's Sacramento by 3. As we get another look at the Weber play.
Appears to be okay. Anderson taking the 3 and looking in the lower left, and Karl Malone waves the big left arm, and Weber off balance goes down really hard. I think it's just 2 big guys jostling for position, but Malone picks up number 3, so we probably won't see him for the rest of the first half.
Good hustle play by Stockton, who winds up with the paparazzi along the baseline. Lottie Divac, defended by Greg Foster. Off the inbound, Maxwell to Weber as they isolate this side of the lane. Now he's doubled. Barry, wide open look. And on the rebound, Barry may be called for the foul.
And Barry trying to follow a shot, really angry at himself that he misses that wide open look, but a little hesitant. He was so wide open, he thought a defender was going to come from his right. He didn't. Left him all alone, but he couldn't knock it down, got frustrated going after the ball on the follow, and picks up what most coaches would say is a needless foul.
Jason Williams returns to the lineup. Barry has shot well from the line, but not from the floor. Entering tonight just 3 of 14 from the floor in the first 3 games. Stockton, defended by Vernon Maxwell, gets the screen from Foster, then shoots from behind it. Rebound Weber, then loses to Shandon Anderson. Nice feed to Russell. And the rebound on a hop to Jason Williams. Stojakovic, long rebound, and Maxwell will run it down for the Kings. Divac wants to go on Foster. Here's Maxwell, and as he goes, he's tripped up.
Weber again knocked down to the floor on that loose ball situation on the other end. As John Barry taking a look from the bench. Again, both teams playing really hard, really physical in this game.
Weber, the little jump hook, no good, and the rebound by Foster. Foster has seen plenty of playing time here in the first half. Stockton goes from one end to the other.
Who says he's old?
His 3rd field goal of the night.
Now they go on a quiet 6-0 run of their own.
This is Maxwell in traffic. Rebound Weber. Howard Isley with the pull-up. Gets his own rebound.
Yeah, smart basketball. Bring it back out again. Call a play. Run a play. Get a good shot.
Gets the high pick from Russell, then gives to Bryant. On the left, it's Anderson, the slasher.
Anderson thought he was fouled as well.
So Rick Alabin wants to talk things over.
And John Stockton, the wily veteran out of Gonzaga, all the way coast to coast for the layup. And Shannon Anderson thinks he's hit on this play. Maybe, maybe not, but look at the spin on there. The nice English gets it to fall. And Utah was down by 7 a few moments ago, and now they've gone on an 8-0 run to take the lead. As Stockton a little bit more active tonight, than perhaps he was in Game 3 or maybe even Game 2 after he took the shot from Weber. 6 points, 2 assists, and without Karl Malone, the Utah Jazz have to get good shots every time down, get a good look at the basket, and keep this crowd a little bit on its heels. Don't let this Sacramento team get out in the running game and really get the crowd more into it here at Arco than they already are.
Inside 3 minutes to go. Second quarter, Stojakovic inbounds to Divac. They want Weber on the block. They get it to him. Time running down. Maxwell 3. Long rebound, Stojakovic. Pass in the lane. Deflected and stolen. Boy, Isley got fouled there by Weber.
I'm sorry. That's just not real smart. I mean, you know, I know you're jacked up for a game. You're all emotional about it and so forth. But when a guy is basically covering the ball on the floor, you don't get on top of the guy and try to reach around him and grab the basketball. That's going to be a loose ball foul.
Second foul on Weber. Stockton hands to Isley. Baseline Anderson loses. Russell picks it up. And Stojakovic may be called for the reach in. That'll be his first and 4 on the Kings here in the second quarter. Coming up at the half once again, we will take a close-up look at Vlade Divac, plus have some highlights from the first 2 playoff games. Win over Atlanta, Miami's win over New York.
Utah
look back at some action last night as well, Art.
Utah pick and roll that time, but Foster just didn't finish it off by hitting the basket.
Stojakovic for 3. And the rebound on a hop pulled down by Isley. Outstanding blocking out there by Utah off the defensive glass. Russell. Long rebound to Jason Williams. And he may have been fouled by Russell.
Now play at both ends, getting a little bit raggedy again. Sacramento Kings trying to make sure they do what they like to do and get the ball inside, maybe overpassing a little bit. They've gone down on the box to one of their big guys almost every time down, but rarely does that big guy take the shot. As soon as he sees the double team coming, he passes out of it. I think the Webbers and the Vlade Divacs are going to have to force the issue a little bit, get some shots up, and try to create some foul situations against Utah.
There you see the shooting story in the ball game and what both teams did in Game 3. So Williams is now a perfect 7 for 7 from the line in the series. He's got 5 points tonight, and Sacramento regains the lead. Anderson defended by Stojakovic. On the left, Stockton fell down, but it wound up in the hands of his teammate Russell. Shot clock winding down. Stockton feeds Russell, and as he goes, he's fouled.
And now Karl Malone was in foul trouble with 3, and now Chris Webber in foul trouble with 3 as he picks it up right there. As Russell breaks down the defense. And Webber always with that pained expression on his face anyway, no matter what's happening. Rick Adelman has something to think about. I guess, at least for now, he's going to leave Chris Webber out there with 3. No, now it looks like he's going to replace him. And there he is. Abdul Wahad will replace Webber, who fouled out of the last game with 10 points. So had to sit there in agony as it went into overtime and was decided, of course, down the final second.
Brian Russell, 28-year-old out of Long Beach State. It's his 6th year in the league, all with the Jazz. Makes both free throws. He's got 6. And Utah regains the lead by 1 as we reach the 1-minute mark here in the second quarter. Maxwell, and away from the ball, Divac may have been fouled from behind by Foster.
It was actually illegal defense. Stockton got caught down there by a little Divac screen, couldn't follow his guy out above the free throw line area, and double teaming a guy without the ball, they ruled.
That's the first such call, plus a warning on the Jazz. Divac inside, rebound Foster. Boy,
that was good, though. Vlade forced the issue a little bit, thought he had picked up a foul, but nothing's being called. The body stuff so far in this game down inside is not being called, and you can say the officials have been consistent.
Stockton gets the screen. Now on the switch, guarded by Stojakovic. He can't stay with him. Left side, Foster. And on the rebound comes to Jason Williams. Oh, look at the bounce pass to Divac. He couldn't field it plainly. But he leaves for Abdul Wahad. So back and forth we go with the lead changes. Isley for 3. Rebound Abdul Wahad. So Williams will walk it up the floor. That hasn't been the case very often as the crowd at the Arco Arena comes alive. About 5 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Divac to beat the clock. Now Anderson will have to hurry for Utah. Deflected from behind to Stojakovic at the buzzer. And that'll do it. So the Sacramento Kings, hoping that Christmas comes a little early. They lead it by 1 at the half. Game 4 over the defending 2-time Western Conference champion Utah Jazz.
Look at this pass. call him a lot of nicknames. They say he's the new Pete Maravich. How do you get that ball in between there? I tell you, he had about a 5-inch opening. And then how do you make a pass like that when you're 7 feet tall? Well, he does. They like to move the ball, and so far they have that 1-point lead. One more half to go for the folks in Sacramento to go crazy.
Hoping for a date in the conference semifinals with the Portland Trailblazers. It's Utah trailing Sacramento 44-43 at the half. Tonight's game a huge opportunity for the Kings franchise, but for some players, there's much more at stake than basketball. Vlade Divac is a Serb. His native land of Yugoslavia is in the midst of NATO airstrikes. And with family living in the region, he's had many sleepless nights. His time on the court has been a release. The focus he commits to his team has allowed him a reprieve from the ongoing conflict, if only for a couple of hours.
People, don't understand that culture. That culture is really weird, every time you try to do something like this bombing, you make them, even stronger. And like I say, bombing is not going to do anything good.
His nights are spent watching television for the latest reports, making phone calls, and trading emails in an attempt to stay in touch with his family.
Just the picture of those people going to shelters, especially when I talk with my dad, he said he doesn't care about himself, he cares about children and all those young people. It's very scary.
Key teammate Peja Stojakovic is also a Serb and is feeling much of the same effects as Vlade Divac. Peja's father arrived in Sacramento shortly before the bombings began and is living with his son. Vlade's been spending time at their home, and they've all grown closer in the wake of the situation in Yugoslavia. For them, basketball is now secondary, but a win tonight could help take away some of the pain they are experiencing away from the court. We are at the half at the Arco Arena, and Vlade Divac and Peja Stojakovic and the Sacramento Kings lead the Utah Jazz 44-43 in Game 4 in the opening round in the West. Welcome back to Sacramento. We're at the half. The Kings lead the Jazz by 1 in Game 4 in their opening round series in the West. Sacramento leads the series 2-1 and looking for the kill tonight against the two-time defending conference champion. This, the third game in the playoffs tonight. Earlier at the Palace at Auburn Hills, Grant Hill with the steal all the way for the layup for 2 of his 21 points to give Detroit a 58-39 lead over Atlanta in Game 4. Pistons needing a win to stay alive. Steve Smith pull-up jumper for 2 of his 14, but it's still Pistons by 18. Then Joe Dumars for 3. Dumars just doesn't want to retire. He announced he will at the end of the season. But for the second straight game, the Dumars retirement is delayed because Detroit wins 103-82 to tie the series at 2. Grant Hill 23 and Dumars with 20. So Game 5 in Atlanta on Sunday.
And the Knicks against the Heat. Knicks with a chance to close them out. Kurt Thomas dunk off the missed jumper. New York had the advantage early. Charlie Ward, three-pointer from far away. But Alonzo Mourning takes things to the basket here, and then Terry Porter helping to really drive the dagger home late. Look at him spot up in the corner. Look at him come up shooting. Miami celebrates as they go into Madison Square Garden and sing Staying Alive. They'll take it back to Miami Arena, downtown Miami for Game 5. Coming up, they get it 87-72. Bob, this game was actually tied at 62 all early in the fourth quarter. Miami really wrested control away from New York down the stretch, led by Zoe with 16 points.
So here's the situation in the East. Game 5, Heat and Knicks on Sunday. Game 5, Hawks-Pistons Sunday. The winners will meet each other in round 2. The Pacers have already swept Milwaukee, and Philadelphia leads Orlando 2-1 and will try to put away the Magic with Game 4 tomorrow in Philadelphia. Should Orlando win, that Game 5 would be Sunday at the O-Arena. Will there be a Game 5 in the Utah-Sacramento series? The Kings hope not. They lead the Jazz by 1, looking to finish off Utah in Game 4. It's game 4, Utah and Sacramento. The Kings lead the series 2-1, and they lead the game over Utah 44-43 at the half at the Arco Arena in Sacramento. Action last night in the Western Conference in Minneapolis at the Target Center. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and the Spurs. They split the first 2 in San Antonio. The big-time rejection by Joe Smith and Terrell Brandon at the other end for 2 of his 16. Timberwolves trail by 1 after 1. Then it's Duncan off the feed from Avery Johnson. David Robinson had a double-double. 18 points, 17 rebounds. San Antonio wins at 85-71. Avery Johnson 24. Kevin Garnett 23 to lead the Wolves. The Spurs lead the series 2-1. Game 4 will be tomorrow again in Minneapolis.
Lakers and Rockets, of course, everybody thought it might be the end for Charles Barkley and company, veteran team, but the Lakers off early. Shaquille O'Neal, 12.6 rebounds in the first half. But Scottie Pippen, talk about coming up big. Watch Scottie spot up. 3 of his 37 points on the night. Rockets up 10. As for Charles Barkley, how about 30 points, 23 rebounds? 2 of the big 3 coming up big as the Rockets go on to win it 102-88. They force a game 4 back in Houston and try to stay alive. The 2 big ones put together another performance like that. They probably will. As you take a look at the Western Conference bracket, the Spurs and Lakers both in positions to close out their series. Blazers awaiting the winner of this Utah-Sacramento series, which will stretch to Sunday if Utah can pull out a victory tonight.
Portland in the West and Indiana in the East, the only teams to sweep. And those are the only 2 series that are over. Will this series be over? The Utah Jazz hanging on for dear life. They trailed 2-1 a year ago to Houston and lived to tell about it. Can they do it again with Sacramento? Looking to win a series for the first time in 18 years. They need 1 more win to make it happen. Opening quarter tonight. Vlade Divac off the feed from Corliss Williamson for 2 of his 6 first half points. Off the miss dunk, Karl Malone. The kick out to Jeff Hornacek for the 3. He had 5 points before leaving with 2 fouls midway through the first quarter. Never did return. Jason Williams, the rookie from Florida, for 3, his only field goal of the half. He's got 5 points at the end of 1. It was 26-23 Sacramento.
And it remained close, Bob, in the second quarter. Peja Stojakovic, the layup after the nice ball movement in transition, the feed from John Barry. And then off the missed jumper inside. Watch Brian Russell. Left-hand Rattler gets it home, but the crowd will not shut up, and they shouldn't. As you can see, the balance scoring indicates a very close ball game. 1-point game it is. Sacramento leading, led by Weber and Abdul Wahad. And for Utah Jazz, all having 6 points. Big story here, though. Weber and Malone, the 2 big guns up front for their respective teams, both with 3 personal fouls.
We'll have more NBA playoff action for you on Sunday. Not sure which game it will be. The possibilities are endless. We already know we'll have 2 game 5s on Sunday. Miami and New York, Atlanta, Detroit. We could have 2 more. We could have a game 5 between Utah and Sacramento. We could have a game 5 between Philadelphia and Orlando. We could also have a game 1 in the West.
That's true.
Between Portland and Sacramento. So stick with us on Sunday. We will have a game for you, and as soon as we know what it will be and when it will be, you'll be the first to know. It is a wild and crazy scene at the Arco Arena in Sacramento. Wonder what will happen when that fella comes out of his shell, Eric.
Lock him up.
It's Sacramento by 1. The first half stats, Utah shooting 43% from the floor, 39% for Sacramento, and the hope you can be with us. Place to be this weekend. Lots of action coming your way. Now, Eric, if I'm Jerry Sloan, and my man Karl Malone, who's averaging 25 points a game in this series, had only 6 points in the first half, and I'm down by 1 at the half, I'm happy.
Yeah, you got to be very happy with that situation. Karl Malone getting in a little bit of foul trouble, but the ball's got to pass through his hands. You see 6 points down at the bottom of your screen, 4 rebounds, 3 fouls. Chris Webber, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 3 fouls. And the two of them have to be a little less physical, a little more careful, and pick their spots in the second half of this game for their respective teams to have a better chance to come out on top here. And that man, Vlade Divac, is going to play a big role down the stretch if his team is to get its first series win since 1981.
Jerry Sloan 5 times was a member of the NBA All-Defensive Team with the Chicago Bulls. His number hangs from the rafters at the United Center. He also coached the Bulls for 3 years between 1979 and 82. There's Rick Adelman, former player for the Portland Trailblazers, among other teams. The close calls between these two teams. All 3 regular season meetings run into overtime. Utah won 2 of the 3.
And, of course, Game 3, the exciting overtime victory. Neither team shooting well in that one, but don't tell these fans here at Arco it wasn't exciting. Coach Adelman saying earlier that his team really had to come out on fire here in the third quarter. They get an illegal defense call that time. And Jerry Sloan, you might have read his lips, said, hey, you finally called it. You finally got it right. Adelman says, though, his team needs to come out, play very well, get off to a good start, and get this crowd really behind them. This is a key stretch of the game, he feels, for his ball team.
Rick Adelman, by the way, played for this franchise when they were in Kansas City. Malone with the right side jumper to begin the third quarter.
And a big hand in his face from Vlade Divac. Still knocked it down.
So 8 points for the mailman. And Utah regains the lead. Down low, Webber. Offensive foul. It's number 4 on Webber. Ouch.
That's just veteran experience there. Karl Malone knows Webber's going to try to match everything he does. Webber, watch him lower the left shoulder. He's going to make his move the right shoulder, it is. Malone, a little bit acting, but he's going to pick it up. And Chris Webber now stuck with 4, and again, that pained expression on his face.
Let's see if they go right at him at the defensive end. Hornacek with a little jump hook. The rebound Malone. Back out to Stockton for the reset. Malone being defended by Divac. They isolate Karl. Gives to Stockton on the switch. Williams steps into the passing lane. 2 on 3, and he finds Abdul Wahab. Oh, my goodness.
He just has an ability to lull you to sleep on the dribble. And when everybody responds to what he's doing, he rockets a bullet pass to a wide-open teammate underneath. It was 2 on 3.
Stockton. So Hornacek only played 8 minutes first half because of foul trouble. On the pick and roll, wanted Ostertag, and it goes out of bounds off the Jazz.
Here's Williams in transition. Now watch, kind of looks like zip it in between some hands and get it to Abdul Wahab for a layup.
Here's Stockton with a steal. 2 on 1 with Russell. 8 points for Brian Russell. As the lead changes hands yet again. We played nearly 2 minutes in the third. Down low, Webber. Jump hook over Malone. Gets the roll.
Webber a little smarter that time. Doesn't try to create space. Just goes up. Little hook shot. Malone with 3 fouls isn't going to be too aggressive on defense.
Here's Malone, and away from the ball. We're going to get a foul call, I think, on Brian Russell.
He doesn't lead the NBA all-time steals for nothing. You can't put it on the floor near Stockton, and the veteran experience draws Williams right to him, then makes the nice left-handed bounce pass to Russell for the easy jam in transition. Still has some basketball left in him, at least this season.
This is Webber, down on the blocks, on Malone. He's doubled, passes neatly out of it to Williams. Williams feeds Divac back out to Abdul Wahab. Rebound Webber to Divac. They'll get to the line. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
I tell you what, this Williams is everything he's cracked up to be. My first time seeing him in person this season, and I tell you, the young man has something special when it comes to finding an open teammate with the basketball. and really doing some magical things with the basketball. He started it all with a bullet pass, looking one direction and going right underneath the basket with his pass to create that ball movement, which results in 2 free throws by Vlade, who missed the first.
Foul on Greg Ostertag was his third. First missed free throw of the night for Divac. He's now 5 of 6 from the line. Only has 1 field goal. As we take a look at the young man, Todd Fuller, who has yet to step onto the court tonight. He missed the 2 crucial free throws with 4 seconds left in overtime.
Oh, now we're getting a little tight with the calls out here. That kind of bumping and grinding was going on in the first half. Didn't draw a whistle. The officials probably got together a little bit, and maybe we're losing a little control. Let's call it a little tighter in the second half. See how that develops.
Stockton to Hornacek. Malone to Ostertag. He beat his man Weber to the basket, and Weber didn't risk picking up his 5th foul. So Ostertag with his first field goal of the night. He's got 4.
And believe it or not, the mailman leading this team in assists in this series, averaging 5.7 a game. Again, moving to that point forward type role.
Right side jumper, Williamson, no good. Divac rebound to Weber. 13 points for Chris Weber. Malone, by the way, had 9 assists in game 1.
What a pass from Vlade Divac. Just a nice touch pass. Weber almost didn't expect it, because when you got Vlade inside passing the basketball, you better be looking.
There's Stockton. Where's the foul there on Abdul Wahab? On the rebound will be controlled by Divac. The big fellow brings it up himself.
He keeps the dribble alive.
Abdul Wahab is doubled by Ostertag and then stripped by Stockton. Here's a 2-on-1 with Malone if they hurry. Weber again can't foul him. Instead, Williamson does. So the basket is good, and now some words being exchanged. You're not going to call it flagrant foul, are they?
I wouldn't think so. Let's watch it again. Again, you cannot put the basketball on the floor, and Stockton and Williamson.
Well, now, it appeared that Williamson was trying to say something to Stockton along the lines, I hope he's all right.
Right.
And then Stockton would have none of it. Slapped his hand away.
Now they come over and make up a little bit. You see Williamson trying to say, hey, it's okay, and Stockton pulling away from him.
Stockton actually made contact
gives him
with
a
the elbow.
Little elbow across the face. I think that was inadvertent, and Williamson slapped him back, so you get that double team.
So now this is Malone shooting the free throw on the personal on Corliss Williamson. The basket will count. So it's a 3-point play.
I tell you what, they better stop counting with him. Malone came into this game shooting over 90% from the foul line in this series. And I tell you what, it's not bothering him at all.
Divac tipped up and in. I think it was Weber.
It was.
So Weber, despite the 4 fouls, showing a little bit of aggressive tendencies there off the offensive glass. This is Malone, and as he starts to go, they'll call the foul. Divac and Weber were there. Let's see. This is going to be crucial.
Here's one more look at it. Stockton helping his teammate up. Corliss going, is he all right? I didn't mean that intentionally. And then he catches Williamson with a little elbow to the face. Inadvertent, I believe. He was just pulling away from him. And then Williamson gives him a nice little love tap back across his face. No real intentional swings there, though, so both players remain in the game.
The foul was on Divac. Malone shoots over Vlade.
I believe that was more of a slip by Malone on a wet spot out there than any contact with Divac created. But again, when you're Karl Malone, you expect to get calls like that. And here he is again. He trips over Divac's foot himself, but Divac gets the foul.
Earlier tonight in the NBA playoffs, Detroit at home avoiding elimination for a second straight time, beating Atlanta 103-82. That series tied at 2. The Knicks trying to put away Miami, unable to do so. Big win for the Heat at Madison Square Garden. That series is tied at 2. The Sacramento River, as we look at some information about the capital city of California, the second most trees in the world, second only to Paris, and the home of 8 is Enough. You ever watch that show, Eric?
8 is Enough, yes. Dick Van Patten, I believe it is, played the father role in that one.
What was his name in the show? It was Tom something. The
nice
shot by
block.
Jason Williams is rejected. And here comes Stockton.
I believe Stockton came over and got that block off the weak side, so he's been active.
Hornacek misses the 3, and the rebound comes down to Weber. So Rick Adelman electing to let Weber play right through the foul trouble, picked up his 4th in the opening moments of this third quarter, and has been in there ever since. This is Abdul Wahad. He's got 13. Jeff Hornacek cannot guard it.
I tell you, he reversed directions a couple times there. Looked like it might have been a walk to me, but got to the basket, got away with one, and got the layup, most importantly.
Now Hornacek is rejected by Abdul Wahad. Williamson to Williams. Leads for the trailer. Let's see. Basket and the foul? You betcha. Williams to Williamson.
And that's the kind of play that'll bring the crowd to its feet and bring the house down here. I don't understand how there's no foul on contact like that. And look at Williams. Am I passing? Am I shooting? I'm passing. He's hitting. And now he has a chance to convert the three-point play.
Foul on Brian Russell. And on the rebound off the missed free throw, a technical foul on Jeff Hornacek. On.
Jerry Sloan telling this veteran team, don't lose your composure here. Settle down. And they all know it. You don't have to tell them much more than this.
So Jason Williams hits the free throw. There you see the production out of the veteran backcourt. They shot a combined 2 for 15 in Game 3. And away from the play, we will get a foul this time on the Kings. Hornacek obviously upset because he felt he was fouled when that shot was blocked from behind by Tariq Abdul-Wahad.
Well, there was definitely a lot of contact on his drive to the basket, and Abdul-Wahad another steal.
And as he goes up the floor, Stockton will be called for the foul. And Abdul-Wahad doing a lot of hoofing and woofing.
And again, we talked about emotion. Watch Abdul-Wahad. Look at Stockton come over trying to cut him off at the pass. And that's a big man at 6'6", 223 pounds to try to cut off at the pass. John Stockton barely 175 and 6'1". Abdul-Wahad's going to win that battle most of the time. We talked about emotion earlier and the Sacramento Kings riding emotion. But it's still only the third quarter. You can't spend it all in the third quarter. You still got a half of the third quarter and an entire fourth quarter to play.
Abdul-Wahad 6 for 6 from the line. He's got 14 points. That's not the first time that Stockton has hit the floor in this series. Pull-up jumper, Russell, no good. Rebound Malone. Nice look inside Hornacek, who spins and shoots over Weber. First points for Hornacek since the opening minutes of the ballgame.
Has a tendency to make shots a little more difficult for himself. But he hits them. And not a good shot from Jason Williams that time. Launched it up way too quickly.
Lead moments ago at 8 was the biggest of the night. Now it's down to 6. Weber and Williams steps into the passing lane to deflect the ball, resulting in the steal.
Well, he is reading those picks and rolls, and he's reading that extra pass. And he's there before the ball is.
Jump hook Weber gets his own rebound and misses again. Golden opportunity there for the Kings. Hornacek. Inside Malone. Wants to go. Shoots over Vlade Divac. Rebound Weber. Abdul Wahab. He's got 16 points, 8 of them here in the third.
The Kings want to play transition basketball, and they are playing it, and Jerry Sloan picks up a technical foul. He does not like the way this is going. He doesn't understand how he gets the technical.
Jerry better be careful, or he may find himself not coaching again until the exhibition season. Jason Williams hits the free throw on the technical. He's 4 for 4 from the line. Sloan is 57 years old, 66-60 in the playoffs, the 7th winningest coach in NBA playoff history. Wide open look for Russell. Rebound Malone. And Hornacek buries it. And we will get a foul, a double foul again. Divac and Ostertag, and that'll be number 4 on Ostertag. That's a pretty good trade there, because it's only 2 on Vlade. Good trade for Sacramento, that is.
And Vlade giving old Greg the stare down there. Watch him get all hooked up underneath. Still grabbing one another. Malone might have been fouled on the rebound there. And Hornacek hits, and they're still pushing one another.
So the lead is 7 for the Kings. Divac double. Nice catch by Williams. Line pass to Williamson. Ten points for Corliss Williamson.
Great thing about Williams in this his rookie year, you just don't know where he's going with it. He has this uncanny ability to look one way and pass it accurately another.
Divac deflects the pass from behind, then takes it up the floor on the wing. Has it knocked away, but it will be Sacramento ball.
In this series, we talked about physical play. Game 1, Vlade just hammered by Ostertag there right across the face. And Corliss Williamson doesn't like it in Game 1. Then now we're back to live action, but we have seen a lot of physical play. And talk about incredible attempts. Did you see Hornacek throw that one in?
The crowd here at the Arco Arena, hoping to see the defending 2-time conference champion Jazz eliminated. The Sacramento Kings with a 9-point lead over Jerry Sloan and the Utah Jazz late here in the third quarter. The Jazz went to the NBA Finals in each of the last 2 years, losing to the Bulls in 6. Without Michael Jordan, certainly the field wide open in this year's playoff race. But no one expected this scenario, with Sacramento on the verge of sending Utah home, but they still have a ways to go. Malone over Divac.
Malone going to take it upon himself to do the things that he's been doing for so many years. Take the clutch shot for the Utah Jazz. Have them settle down in their offense and get right back in this one.
Divac, Con Fuller is checked in for the first time for Utah. He gets the rebound. This is Isley. Osterteig's on the bench. Right side Malone. And the rebound. Great hustle by Brian Russell, and he comes up limping. Remember, he's got that bad ankle.
They are flying all over the place, and they're flying into each other for most of this game.
Malone working on Divac. The hook.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a hook shot. And then Russell is really favoring that right ankle. They're going to have to, when they get the ball back, get a timeout and get him out of there. And now he commits a foul. They took advantage of it. Williamson, that'll be number 4. But the more important thing for Jerry Sloan and his crew is if they can get that ankle back in shape so Russell can come back on and make a contribution in this basketball game.
Karl Malone now with 15 points, 9 of them here in the third. There you see what Anderson has done tonight.
And the last 2 times down, he's gotten the basketball in scoring position. Now, you saw Weber earlier with the little jump hooks, but they were more like jump throws. That was a true hook shot straight out of the 50s by Malone. Nothing but net.
Maxwell for 3, no good. Pollard tries to save, it does. Williams. Behind the back, Maxwell. Wild shot. And rebound finally comes down to Fuller. Anderson and the foul.
Transition opportunities. And the Utah Jazz, in their great experience, locking in that focus. They get down by 9. And now they have a chance to complete a 3-point play and a 7-0 run of their own. And just before these fans here at Arco Arena can blink, the Utah Jazz are right back in the thick of this basketball game.
So Jason Williams departs with 7 points, replaced by John Barry as Shandon Anderson tries to complete the 3-point play. Rebound Malone.
Mailman coming up big. Last 3 possessions down. Big rebound off the missed free throw there.
Now it's Pollard getting the assignment on Malone. Carl shoots over. Good defensive job by Pollard. Rebound Divac. A 6-0 Utah run has pulled the Jazz within 3 inside the final minute of the third. Down low. Long rebound, last touched by the Kings.
Good call. Williamson had a shot at it. It looked like Pollard had a shot of it, but it went off Pollard and out of bounds. Good call by the officials that time.
The Jazz will walk it up the floor. It looked like they were on the verge of getting blown out moments ago, but they stabilized the game. This is Fuller, buries the jumper, and it's an 8-0 Utah run. Hornacek with the steal off the inbound. For 3. Fuller with the rebound, then Malone. As time expires, and Sloan wanted a foul, but he won't get it. But Utah with a terrific comeback down the stretch in the third quarter. An 8-0 Utah run has pulled the Jazz within 1 at the end of 3 quarters. Game number 4 at the Arco Arena. The Sacramento Kings looking to win a playoff series for the first time since 1981. They need 1 more win to do it.
That's one of those coaching staff is going, no, 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 no. Yes, it went in. Max has been doing it that way all his career. Now he picks up a foul, trying to fight through the screen set by Malone way out high on the wing.
First foul on Maxwell. Stockton to Todd Fuller. Fuller will take the shot from the top of the circle, and Malone with his 12th rebound of the night.
And another big one, too, keeping an offensive series alive, giving him a fresh 24. He has responded like the Karl Malone we've known over the last several years in the NBA as one of its top players and clutch performers.
Fuller tried to feed Isley, had a little bit too much pace on the ball. This is Barry. On the left. Rebound, Todd Fuller.
Barry didn't know whether he wanted to go glass or try to hit it straight in. Finally, he decides to go for straight in. Shoots it a little long.
Isley and the kick on Maxwell, so a new shot clock for the Jazz.
I tell you, Scott Pollard has a tough job ahead of him. Second-year man guarding Karl Malone, a 14-year man who knows every trick in the book at that power forward slot.
Stockton down low to Malone, and it's rejected from the weak side.
And the mailman thought he was hacked a little bit on that play, but
Scott Pollard with the block. Sacramento up 3, 2 minutes into the fourth. Weber on the bench getting a rest. Divac is doubled and stripped, but it was last touched by the Jazz.
Whenever number 12 is anywhere near you, you cannot put the ball on the floor that much. He will definitely come up with the steal.
Utah trying to force a Game 5 at the Delta Center on Sunday. The Sacramento Kings. On April 15th, they were 17-22. They won 10 of their last 11, including their last 5, in order to make the playoffs and get the number 6 seed. Williamson with the tip to beat the shot clock. On the other hand, Utah lost 5 of its last 10 regular season games. So it was Sacramento that was the hot team down the stretch, not the Jazz. Pass into the post deflected by Pollard and stolen by the Kings.
Too many bodies, too many white shirts down there for that pass to get through. And now Sacramento, let's see how they perform in the clutch with a little lead.
Divac spins, shoots over Fuller. Rebound Malone, and he is knocked to the floor by Pollard. I think it may have been inadvertent, but it was very hard. Very much out of tune tonight as we look at the 3 veterans. 36-year-old Malone, 36-year-old Hornacek, and 37-year-old Stockton. Divac finally gets a rest. Chris Webber returns, playing with 4 fouls. Russell drives, wild shot, rebound Webber. This is a 3-on-3. Maxwell spots up, and Stockton gets on him quickly. Down low, Williamson. Again to Corliss, over Anderson. Rebound weak side Malone. 14th rebound of the night for the mailman.
Sacramento at one point tries to be patient, tries to slow things down and work a good shot. And then that inexperience shows, the emotion shows. Malone doesn't get that one to fall down, but let's see what they do now. They've got the 5-point lead. Their second possession to try to put it to 7 or 8 with a 3-pointer. We get a timeout now because Coach Adelman and Coach Sloan want to talk things over. Sacramento a chance to create some distance.
We played nearly 4 minutes here in the fourth, and the Jazz have yet to score. Don't forget, more NBA playoff action coming your way this Sunday on ESPN. We don't know what the matchups will be yet. The possibilities are endless. There could be a Game 5 in this series between Utah and Sacramento. Also could have Game 5 between the Knicks and the Heat, between the 76ers and the Magic, should that go 5. But we will have a game for you on Sunday. While we were away, the crowd was going absolutely wild here at the Arco Arena, particularly the crowd directly behind the Utah bench. Divac called for traveling. there are a number of fans directly behind the Utah bench with cowbells. And they unleash the sound and fury of those cowbells during every timeout, making it very difficult for the Jazz to hear themselves in the huddle. On the drive, it's Howard Eisley. First points of the fourth quarter for Utah, and it took 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Eisley's first points of the second half. Webber down low. He's fouled from behind by Brian Russell.
And that is a mismatch, and that'll be number 4 on Russell. 6'7" Russell, only 225, going against a Chris Webber who's 6'10", 245. So Webber's going to try to take advantage of that, and Blade is going to drive his coach crazy if he keeps putting that ball on the floor out and high.
The entry pass to Webber, who got behind Russell and is fouled from the weak side by Anderson.
You got to do that. You got to use the Shaq rule against him in this series, the way he's been shooting free throws so far in this series. Webber came in shooting less than 30% from the foul line so far in this series. So I'd make him earn everything from the stripe.
With that free throw, Webber is now 6 for 17 from the line in the series. 1 of 3 tonight as Peja Stojakovic returns. This is the 51st year in the NBA for this Kings franchise, which began as the Rochester Royals. They won a championship in Rochester in 1951, moved to Cincinnati, then moved to Kansas City and Omaha, where they actually split their games between the two cities before deciding to play the ball in Kansas City. Then it was on to Sacramento in 1985. Anderson to Malone. Fouled from behind by Vernon Maxwell. The 22nd playoff appearance for the Kings franchise, but their first since '96. As we mentioned, they won the title in '51 when they were in Rochester. That's their only title. They've been to the conference finals 5 times, but not since 1981. Didn't make the playoffs last year or the year before. 3 years ago, they lost to Seattle 3-1 in the opening round.
The crowd trying to bother Karl Malone by giving him its own 10-second count, but it has not worked. Malone, who has missed some big free throws in the postseason last couple of years, especially some against the Bulls in those finals of the last 2 seasons, promised himself he was going to be a clutch free throw shooter this time around, and in this series, he has been.
John Barry to Maxwell for 3. Long rebound of Vlade Divac. Webber on the much smaller Russell. Shoots over. Gets his own rebound. Maxwell, another 3. Rebound, Shandon Anderson.
Well, he would have brought the house down. He had to look. Good ball movement, good hustle. Just couldn't knock it down. Now Utah a chance to respond, and you know he was going to go to number 32.
Shoots over Divac. Rebound Webber. That was rebound number 11 for Webber, who led the NBA this season in that department. Doubled by Stockton. This is Barry. Dipsy-do. Second field goal of the night for the former All-American from Georgia Tech.
He got an injured Utah Jazz player. Boy, Russell has really had a tough night. First he tweaks the ankle. Now he appears to be favoring maybe his right arm, could be a groin area. I don't know, but he lay on the floor pretty still.
It's Sacramento by 6. A look at Brian Russell of the Utah Jazz, who was shaken up prior to the timeout. Let's see if we can find out what happened.
Well, this is the Barry drive and a knee. Oh, right where it really, really hurts. Watch him again and watch the right knee. Ow! I would have to say that's right down in the groin area. And at the speed with which they collided, it might take Russell a while to get back in the lineup. Got the sprained ankle, now a knee to the groin area. But more importantly, John Barry has a basket to put his team up 5.
5.5 remaining. Pick and roll. Stockton to Malone. We've seen that just a few times over the years.
About $1.5 million.
19 points for the mailman. And the Jazz pulls within 3. Looking for Divac. Can't find him. Now gets it to him. Works on Anderson. He's doubled. Maxwell. And on the rebound could be Divac.
We were talking during the break, Bob, and we talked about the impact of Tariq Abdul-Wahad in this game with 16 points and a real big physical presence against the much smaller Utah guards. Yet we got Vernon Maxwell out there launching him up from 3-point range, and no Wahad. We'll see how long Rick Adelman stays with Wahad on the bench, who's played so well tonight.
Stockton jumper, no good. Rebound, Malone. Shoots over Weber. 21 for Malone. Only the 3rd field goal here in the 4th for Utah. And the Jazz trails by 1. Divac loses to Stockton. 4 on 3 if they hurry. And the finish to Shandon Anderson. And Utah, with a 6-0 run, has taken the lead.
And again, Vlade getting himself in trouble, putting that ball on the floor around all those quick hands of the Utah Jazz. There's Stockton's coming to double down on Weber.
And as Maxwell starts to drive, he's fouled by Isaac. Whenever Divac or Weber gets the ball isolated down low, Utah is double teaming. It's resulted in many an open look for Maxwell, and frankly, Eric, he has not capitalized.
He has hit a couple of wild ones. He's only 3 of 13 from the floor and 2 of 10 from 3-point range. That tells me, if I'm a coach, well, maybe I ought not have him out there really too much tonight. Maybe I need to go with another combination or someone else, because my 3-point bomber doesn't have his 3-point eye. But he has the free throws working and gives his team a lead again.
Entering tonight's game, Maxwell was 7 of 31 from the floor in the series. So 3 for 13 tonight. Well, you do the math. He's 10 of 44. Stockton with time running down on the shot clock. Over Weber. Got it. First field goal of the second half for John Stockton. He's got 8. I think Jeff Hornacek.
I think they're comfortable in this spot. They've done it so many times. They've been through it so many times. The pressure on Sacramento here.
Weber misses the jump hook, and a rebound foul will be called on Shandon Anderson.
I thought they were going to call goaltending there. Looked like the ball was definitely in the cylinder. That'll be number 4 on Anderson. Jerry Sloan likes to hustle. Watch again. Hook shot by Weber. It's more like a throw shot. Watch it. Is it in the cylinder? Oh, yeah. It's in there, but no goaltend call. Instead, they give him a foul call.
Weber defended by Malone. Barry. Rebound is pulled down by Thurl Bailey. Right side jumper, Malone. Rebound, Divac.
Well, a good look for Malone that time. He was just falling away a little bit. Might not have had to. And he comes up a little short on that jumper.
This is Barry again. A 3 for John Barry. His first 3 of the night. He's got 7. And Sacramento regains the lead by a pair.
First 3-pointer for either team in the entire second half.
22nd lead change of the night. Bailey in traffic. He's double teamed, and Jason Williams comes up with the ball. 38-year-old Thurl Bailey back in the NBA after spending a couple of years in Europe. Williams to Maxwell for three. Back-to-back threes by the Kings, and suddenly they're up 5. Earlier tonight in the NBA playoffs, Detroit at home beating Atlanta 103-82 to tie that series at 2. Game 5 will be Sunday in Atlanta. And the Miami Heat facing elimination, winning in New York by 15, evening that series at 2. Game 5 Sunday afternoon at the Miami Arena. So the Knicks and Heat split the first 2 in Miami and split the next 2 in New York. And Eric, what a rivalry over a brief amount of time that has become.
Absolutely. Last couple of years we've seen some fists exchanged, and that kind of extracurricular activity affected the outcome of the series, but so far this season they've been fairly clean.
There you see the last time that Utah went out in the opening round in '95 to Houston, who went on to win the championship, second of 2 straight titles for the Rockets. Back-to-back three-pointers by John Barry and Vernon Maxwell, but the veteran Stockton comes back. He's got 10, and the lead is 3 inside 2 minutes.
See what kind of composure the young Kings have here.
Weber is fouled from behind.
That is a tremendous mismatch, but Utah has been so good at rotating the defender down in the post to double or triple team the ball when it goes into Weber or Divac. And Weber, who's been struggling at the line, he did hit 2 in a row the last time he went. Good strategy on the behalf of the Jazz to foul him and send him to the line. See if he can convert 2.
7 of 18 from the stripe in the series. Make it 8 of 19. It's not like this is an aberration, what he's done in the series, that is, Eric, because on the regular season, Chris Webber went to the line 174 times, and he made only 45.4% of it.
Oh.
Double-double for Webber. He's 1 of 2 here. The lead is 4. Maxwell defending Stockton. No Jeff Hornacek down the stretch. Isley, left side Anderson, a 3. Shandon Anderson with his first 3 of the night. He's got 11. The lead is 1 with 1:25 to go. So Grant Allen elected to go with John Barry and Vernon Maxwell down the stretch.
They are not going to go down without a fight. Now they do the same thing, and now Vlade will try to draw the foul and does against Karl Malone. That'll be number 4 against the mailman.
But his first
in the second
late
half.
in the second quarter.
Right.
So Divac's at the line, where he is 5 of 6 tonight. 18 of 24, 18 of 21 rather, in the series.
Big 13 rebounds tonight, 3 of them on the offensive end for him, and boy, you talk about a shooter's roll that time. Clanged it off the back, but it goes straight up in the air and harmlessly through the hoop. Much to the delight of this sellout Arco crowd.
That shot will not count. The whistle clearly sounded before Vlade released the ball.
Maybe some fan had a whistle. That's what it sounded like.
Some fan has a cowbell, that's for sure.
Or throwing an object on the floor, perhaps. Might have cost their team a free throw, however. Let's see.
Made it anyway. So the lead again is 3. Stockton looking for Russell. Defended by Maxwell. Gets it to him. He's doubled by Divac. Isley kick out Anderson for three. We're tied.
Boy, same play. They run it again. Isley creates some action toward him. And we get a similar scenario as we had in Game 3, going down to the final moment.
Divac backing in on Malone. Goes by Carl. Can't make the shot. And the rebound is pulled down by Anderson. Malone and Divac got tangled up. Divac went down and no whistle. And here's Anderson at the other end shooting over Weber. And it's Utah by a pair.
Anderson, the hero of the night. 2 big threes from the same spot. And now the layup in transition. And suddenly the Utah Jazz have a chance to get out of here with a victory.
Shandon Anderson has scored Utah's last 8 points. He's got 16. Following the Shandon Anderson basket, Sacramento down by 2, 31 seconds left. We mentioned the contact at the other end between Malone and Divac and no whistle. Wow.
That's an arm drag takedown, they call it in the WWF.
Official right there, too.
And, of course, Karl Malone did do some professional wrestling earlier, so he knows a little bit about that move. No foul call. Well, final 30.
And the other night, they went down low to Divac, who beat Malone twice in a row. They give it to him. He's doubled. He's fouled. And count the hoop. Oh! With a chance to give them the lead.
It's incredible to me. They've been aggressively doubling back when the ball's going down in the post all game, except this time. Vlade allowed to go across the lane. Malone and Stockton both hack him across the arms. He still gets it up. And now his team has the lead.
3-point play by Divac. Timeout Utah. And the Jazz are down 1. Only the second basket of the night for Divac. He's got 12 points. 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Wasn't going to be denied, was he?
This May.
23.3 seconds remaining. Utah ball down by 1. Season on the line for the Jazz. They trail 2-1. Eric, we've seen the pick and roll play worked by John Stockton and Karl Malone just a few thousand times in their careers. Will we see it again here?
Well, it's their bread and butter, and I tell you what, too, does it speak volumes that Hornacek not in the game now. Anderson, Russell, Isley, Stockton, and Chris Webber urging this 17,000 plus to give them a little help playing D.
There we go. Malone sets it. There's the pick and roll. Just like that.
Wow. It's incredible. And you talk about a lack of playoff experience. What other play are you going to expect the Utah Jazz to run in this? And how poorly can you possibly defend it? I mean, nobody's near Karl Malone. Nobody's near him.
They must not have seen it before. Oldest play in the Jazz playbook, Eric.
Well, as soon as Stockton has it, now, if you're Maxwell, you gotta slide with Malone. Where's Max? He's going out towards Stockton. Pretty easy, uncontested, left-handed layup. Now let's see what the Sacramento Kings run with, and they'll probably hit Divac down low. That's why Ostertag has been brought in the game to give him a little more trouble.
And let's see if Utah doubles and if Divac hits the open man out of the double. This could come down to a wide open shot by Maxwell. He's doubled. He spins. He's fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot a couple. And from the line tonight, Vlade Divac is 8 of 9.
Well, I don't know if they brought Greg Ostertag into the game to foul Vlade Divac. Divac, watch the reverse pivot. Beautiful. Nice ball fake. Greg Ostertag says you got to earn it at the line. I don't know. He was down pretty deep under the basket. And Pollard and these 17,300 fans all say a prayer. At least they're tied here in Vlade, the veteran, the man with the most playoff experience.
It's Sacramento by 1 again. We may see one more pick and roll. The Kings may get a chance to see if they can defend it any better this time. .2 seconds remaining. Sacramento, on the strength of 2 Vlade Divac's free throws, has regained the lead from the Jazz. Last time we were in this situation, Utah down 1 with the ball. Utah timeout. They called for their bread and butter play, the pick and roll. And the Kings did a horrible job defending it. Let's see if Jerry Sloan goes to it again.
Well, you know that man will most likely get to touch the basketball. He said this year he's going to have fun in the playoffs. He was taking himself way too seriously. Let's see if he has fun now when he touches the basketball, because you know they're going to get it to him at any and all costs. And Karl Malone will likely be the one to take the shot with the game on the line if he can get it.
Divac's defending Malone. Here's Stockton. Malone sets up high, and here it is again. Stockton. Got it! With .7 seconds left.
0.7 of a second to go. And the first time they run the play, nobody followed Malone. The second time they run the play, nobody followed Stockton. So he has a wide open look and knocks it down. He thinks it's a 3. I think his foot was on the line. 0.7 of a second, enough time for the Sacramento Kings to catch and get a decent shot off. One more look at it now as a dejected Kings team on the bench. Here we go. Maxwell again, screened off. Nobody follows Stockton. Wide open look, bang, rattles it home. The first time, nobody followed Malone. Here we go again. Williams tried to get out there and get a hand up. But Stockton, too good a look with 0.7 left. Maxwell again, hard screen laid on him by Malone. But Vlade's got to peel off. He's got to go to Stockton. He doesn't. Stockton, a good look at it. The veteran that he is going to knock that one down. Shades of them beating Houston a year ago. You can see the Sacramento bench can't believe that they can't defend the pick and flash. Stockton's feet definitely on the line, and when it goes through, they may put actually a few tenths of a second back on the clock. When it went through, it was more like 1 second left. I don't know if they're going to... Nope, it's going to still 0.7 of a second left. Again, from half court, they'll inbound it. Plenty of time to catch, maybe even take a dribble and get a shot off.
Now, Sacramento is out of timeouts. See if the Jazz will step forward to contest the inbound and get that delay of game warning that normally results in this situation. There really isn't any time to let Divac go to work down on the block. Whoever receives the inbound pass will have to take the shot. Now Maxwell trying to come free for the pass. Well, evidently they did have one more timeout left.
And I tell you what, Vernon Maxwell's very fortunate that he didn't get a foul called on that play. He was violently hitting the hands of the defender, getting his hands off of his back. I believe it might have been Isley.
They never call that in the NBA.
Oh, but I mean, it was really, really obvious how.
In the closing seconds.
Yeah. Now here's game 2. Weber said, I'm trying to set a tone. Bam, he set a tone all right.
9 seconds into the game that happened.
Flattened Stockton, who really hadn't been playing much like the John Stockton we're used to since that time.
Okay, 0.7 of a second left. Sacramento down 1 with the ball on the side, forecourt. And again, Maxwell trying to get free. Instead, it's Jason Williams for the win. And we will have a Game 5 on Sunday. So the veteran Utah Jazz executing to perform.
NBA playoff series in NBA history. I mean, the Utah Jazz continuing to amaze, fighting off playoff elimination as, like Van Earl said, in a raucous Arco Arena. Now the series moves to the comfy confines of the Delta Center for Game 5 this Sunday.
They've taken us out about everything. They're long, they're quick, they're very, very talented to try to deal with. We can't get a lot of inside stuff. If you don't make some baskets, that's just what we've always had to do. Is if we don't make some baskets outside, sometimes you're dead.
I'm very proud of our team. I mean, we show hard, we play hard. That's basketball, It could go either way. It went their way, they're lucky, but hey, we go up there and fight.
John he's done it his whole career, and he did it in that one. Made a nice pass on one play, made a big shot at the end.
Well, Utah must be feeling a little deja vu. They're in the same position as they were last year when they had to beat the Houston Rockets in Game 4 at Houston, and then they beat them at Game 5 at the Delta Center and danced all the...